Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. MissNatasha here. I hope you're doing well. If you don't know, I'm a mental wellness creative and disability advocate, and I'm here to briefly discuss all things manhood and thoughts and feelings about uh, what one man has gone through in his life, and what influences shaped him. So, and one more thing, also to ask the question, why do men create instead of hate? So I'm going to ask. Oh, and one more thing before I get started. So, in the process of asking men to come on an interview, I always sit down and think about three words that I could think of about the person I'm interviewing. So what I thought of is committed, authentic, and brave. So can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Solomon Amo Mensah. Um, I don't even know what to say about myself. She gave an amazing introduction. I don't know how to follow up with that. Yeah, I'm committed. I follow through with my word. That's one thing, right? If someone asks me, providing if I have the time, I'll say yes, right? So I'm so excited to be on this platform, to have a nice conversation, authentic conversation, and to spread the word out there, right? I think we need more of these type of conversations so that men that look like us, that dress like us, or even if they're not like us, could understand that we're all in it together and we all could, you know, move the world together, right? So it's very important that we have these conversations so that we could shed light on to the world. So I'm very excited. I'm here, and I'll share more about myself throughout the interview. But yeah, everyone, let's get to work.
Thank you. Alrighty. So what do you find, where do you find fathering inspiration?
Mm, that's a good question. So where I find fathering inspiration, it's funny enough, for me, it worked in different phases. As a kid, obviously everyone looks to their dad as their hero, right? When you're young, like your brain is a sponge, your dad is your everything, right? As I got older, my father disappointed me in ways that when I was a kid, I didn't know better, right? And I'm only able to forgive now because I understand how this thing life works, right? So, but with that being said, as I was moving up into different phases, I had uncles that I looked up to as amazing fathers. I'm like, man, when I have a family one day, I'm gonna do what he does. Like something as simple as joking around with your family, your wife, your kids, your nephews. Like I found so much joy in just knowing that when I go to his house, like he's gonna make me laugh, right? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna steal that and add that to my tool belt one day, right? I'm gonna definitely do that. As I got older, my friends, my peers, right? I know they're not direct age, my age mate, but they are my brothers, right? They're older than me, and they started their families ahead of me, and just how amazing fathers they've came to be to their children and their family is just, it's sort of like they set the blueprint, right? Because let's be honest, we grew up in the hood, right? I grew up in Jane and Finch, okay?
Mhm.
I didn't know better. I seen men in and out of my friends, my young friends' lives, right? Some men will be in jail, some men will just, have a relation with their mother and never be there again, right? So I wasn't exposed to what true fatherhood is, right? So when I seen my friends do that with their own respective families, I said, wow, they're literally setting the bar. They're keeping me accountable by not telling me that, hey, this is it. Like you have to do what we're doing, right? Not that it's a competition, but they're setting the bar that, listen, if we could be great role models, great fatherly figures for our children, it's an investment. It's helping their mindset. It's helping how they definitely pay their debt back to society, right? So yeah, I definitely stole from them there and added to my tool belt, right? And then there's one other father. His name is Mr. Gadgetar. an amazing guy growing up. This is when I was in grade school. Again, he was our father. Like he was my one of my best friends' dad, but like he did everything with us. He taught us how to drive. Like, do you know how amazing feeling that is to have an adult teach you how to drive when you're young, like you're, I don't know, I was 12, 11, 13, like, like having an adult like him just saying, you know what, boy, let's go to the parking lot, let's show you how to drive, right? And I like that was an amazing feeling that I'll never forget, right? And I don't think he remembers that that happened that day, but he shaped me, right? So um for me, it's different phases. Different men's were very pivotal in my life, in my shaping, and I just stole what I liked from them. And also, I've seen the bad side of it too. And I said, okay, you know what? Let me also add that in my tool belt because it's not always perfect raising a family, right? So you also have to understand there's gonna come with good, there's gonna come bad. It's how you handle that bad, right? How the leadership qualities in that situation, right? What was the learning investments from that situation, right? So I took everything and I just added to myself. I'm not perfect. I'm still growing. My wife was, hey, you dropped the ball here, this and that, right? But I'm trying, man. For me, it's just I want to be the best father for my kids that
Mhm.
anyone could ask for. I find joy in that.
Mhm.
I really find joy in that, and my faith in Christ.
Mhm.
He hasn't given up on me, so why do I give up on my children, right?
Mhm.
So he's the ultimate father. He's entrusted us on earth with
Mhm.
these children's, right? For us to shape them so that they can glorify his name. So yeah, so that's it. I know that's a loaded answer, but yeah.
Looking for. Looking for.
Yeah.
We are you and men out there perfectly imperfect.
Mm,
So we need to just dial in. Come
mm,
on.
mm,
that
mm,
was
mm,
great.
mm,
That was great.
for sure.
Um, I will go into the deepest question that I
Mm-hmm,
have here first. I usually wait till the end, but I'm going to do it
mm-hmm,
now.
mm-hmm.
When did you first find your dominion?
Hmm.
Before or after becoming a father?
I think when I found out I was gonna become a father is when
Mm.
it really rocked me because I was a wild guy. I was I was I'm a friendly guy, so a lot of females will take that in different ways, right? So I think having my son is what really slowed me down and said, you know what? You're thankful it's one right now. It could have been more, right? So just now it's time to buckle up right now because this is a different type of responsibility that I'm gonna give you. And you don't take this lightly, right? So he really slowed me down, like really absolutely slowed me down. And for a good thing, like some say, oh, I'm boring. Solomon don't like to hang out no more. Solomon don't want to go out clubbing no more. It's just I don't find
Elevated.
I don't find
Elevated.
joy in that, of course, right? So I don't find joy in it no more. I love hanging out with my boys. Like if you invite me to your house, let's have a barbecue or a sit down. I find joy in that because stories comes out of that, those
Mm.
moments, right? Wisdom comes out of those moments, right? So no, definitely I would say my son is what led me to Christ, like literally led me to Christ. So yeah,
That's so sweet. I have
yeah.
two questions that came to my mind.
Hmm.
I'll go with the second one. What
Yeah.
does friendship mean to you? Because you spoke about friendship just a little smidge, but what does
Um
friendship mean to you?
it's when you're young, you don't know what friendship means. I think when we're
Mm,
young, we think friendship is a popularity contest, right?
mm, mm,
Um, and I thought that, like, till
mhm,
this day, I have a lot of friends. I can't keep in touch with everyone, like, it's impossible, right? But it's just the person that I am. I love to be friendly. I love to interact. I love to, share nuggets with people, right?
mm.
But as I matured and got older, I think what friendship means to me now is someone. I wouldn't even call it a friend. I would call it if that person can turn into a brother or a sister. Like
Mm,
I never had an I well, I shouldn't say that. I've never had an older brother or an older sibling where I had an intimate relationship with,
mhm,
like
mhm,
a real connection, right? So as I got older now, again, I love hanging around people that are older than me because I just soak in the wisdom, and they don't treat me as a kid. They literally come to me back for advice, right? So to me, true friendship is when someone like when you have a blank painting or a blank canvas
mhm,
and you throw paint on it and you say define friendship,
mhm.
literally it should be a, a visual of family, if that makes
Mm,
sense. Family, like we don't see the blood, but
mhm,
if I look at this painting, I know that that's your brother, that's your sister. And to
mm,
me, that's who I hold tight, my true brothers and sisters, and they're my friends, right? And those that are not my brothers and sisters, yeah, I know them, you're my acquaintance, but it's not the same. It's not like, it's not the same. So I think
mm.
that's how I value friendship. If I could see you as my brother and sister, I'll ride for you, right? And
Oh,
yeah, you would
that's
do it for your family, so why not your friends that probably treat you better than your own blood, right?
that's right.
That that is honest with you.
Oh man, man.
Yeah.
That's like I hope that a lot of people can understand the value of having people who understand the Lord and also understand humans.
Mm,
Non-judgmental.
mm. And thank you for reminding me about that because it's very important to understand there are some friends that you may think is good, but they really don't have your best interest, right?
Oh boy, oh boy.
So again, as I matured in Christ, only it's now that I matured in Christ that I understand where I take counsel from, right? It's not everyone I get counsel from. I have to ensure
Mhm.
you're deeply rooted in the word because you don't understand the same what I have set my eyes on, you may not have it there yet. So if I'm asking you for some free game, you're gonna probably give me the worldly game, and I don't want that. The
Yeah.
worldly game is gonna put me back even more, right? So sometimes I need someone to be honest, say, "Yo, Solo, you know what? You messed up. You know who you serve. Why would you go that path, right?"
Mhm.
So I need that. So it's very important the friendships that you keep, they're rooted in God, right? In your faith, right? So if they're rooted in your faith, when things go down or if you need advice, it's definitely coming out of love and they're not straying you the wrong way, right?
No.
So that's important because they have influence. Friends have influence no matter what.
So I had a question, but it's clear to see that fatherhood has enhanced your life.
100%.
And also like you had seeds before, I would believe, from of faith,
Yep.
but it like planted more seeds so then you could spread it toward to your family now.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That's what
Yep.
I'm gathering.
Yep. Yep. No, honestly, yeah, it definitely like it shaped me up because I didn't like, yes, my dad was my hero, but
Mhm.
I don't think I've had a relationship with my dad talking about Christ or,
Mhm.
what it's like to be a man in this world.
Mhm.
Good practical discussions. I don't think we've ever had
Mm.
that. It's do what I say, not what as I do, right? So like that's the type of relationship me and my father had, right? So
Mhm.
um I used that. I said, you know what? Something's got to change.
Mhm.
Was that good for my mental health, my mental um development, right? Did it put me back in not having those type of discussions, those type of connections with my dad? I don't know, but I know now that I know better, I have to implant those seeds early, so that you know I would hope it says in the Bible, like train up your children as the way of the Lord, right? So I definitely want to ensure that if I'm planting the seeds and they're gonna reach a certain age, I'm hoping that those seeds will blossom
Mhm.
and they will continue and spread it to others, right? That's my hope. And I pray to God that happens, right? And if it doesn't, I've done my part, right? And I pray
Mhm.
that I just keep watering, and just
Mm,
someday will harvest, right? So it's very crucial that if you started early, you want fresh soil, right? You can't plant seeds on hardened soil, right? So you definitely want fresh soil. So at a fresh age, we could get these kids, right? And just
yeah,
you put it in them.
yeah, yeah. And I hope you're hearing this, man. So, and it's the viewership is also for women. We need
Absolutely.
to listen to both sides and understand each other so we can help our people treat us better. We
Absolutely.
love on one another in appropriate manners and stop this nonsense. You know? But that's like a whole nother story, so I won't get into
Of
that.
course, of
Um,
course.
how do you take care of yourself? What does taking care of yourself look like?
Wow. So uh we recently sorry, my daughter's calling me.
Oh,
It's okay. We recently welcomed twins. So our home has been an adventure, I would say, right? So we have a 2-year-old, we have twins, then we have a 9-year-old son, right? So um it's okay, mommy, back to mommy. Okay, I'll talk to you.
oh,
Sorry.
that's
So
okay.
yeah. Our home's been an adventure. So to say I've had time to myself and like work on me, probably my drive homes is my me time. I got to make use of it, right? And I don't want to say I don't want this is not shade to my family. Oh, they're keeping me
Mhm,
busy where I can't have my own me time. Absolutely no, that's not what I'm
mhm,
saying. I'm
mhm.
just saying it's a season right now where I'm needed more than ever, right? So
Yeah.
I gotta definitely put in the time, put in the work, and then again, return on investment. Later on,
Mhm.
I'll have that me time where I could go for walks, I can go for on a single retreat, or do the things that gets my mind right, right? But in the meantime, right now, I would say my drives is my time, right? I'm listening to podcasts, I'm praying, I'm doing things that is just working on my mind.
Mhm,
Conversations, like I'm a busy person, right? So like if I can call you, I'm literally investing in you, right? I want to make sure you're good, right?
mhm.
So that's also my outlet. Like I love serving others. I love having connections with people. So if I could call you up, hey sis, how's everything doing?
Mhm.
Like, I just want to make sure you're good, right? Because if you're not good, I'm not good
That's
spiritually, right?
right.
So I want to make sure you're good. So for now, and then I try to play basketball here and there, but I haven't played in a long time. So yeah, just I would say that. I know the viewers are probably saying, "Oh, Solomon, that's not really," but it's my season right now, and definitely when things get better, I will definitely make that connection to really dive in that, right? Double down on that.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, I in the beginning of this journey got to speak to two gentlemen about uh this adventure I'm going on and got to bounce the questions back and forth to them. And
Mhm.
so one question that one of the gentlemen gave me intrigued me so much, and
Mhm.
I'd like to know your thoughts on it. And it is, how did your relationship with money change after fatherhood?
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah,
That
it
is a
was.
good one.
It was.
That is a good one. So this is gonna be a bit controversial, but I wouldn't even say a father, but a true parent knows once your kids come into this world, it's no longer you anymore,
Yeah.
right? So you second guess everything that you do now, right? When you're spending that dollar, did my kids eat? Did my
Mhm.
kids get clothes? Did my
Yeah.
kids have shoes on their feet? Are my kids' daycare fees paid or whatnot? All these things is in the back of your mind before you even want to spend a dollar to yourself, right?
Mhm.
And it's sad, but I think as natural providers, as natural nurturers, we want to make sure our children are good first, right? So for me, I think that definitely changed my landscape of how money is run now because
Mhm.
I want to make sure they eat before I eat, right? That's
Mhm.
that's just my natural thing. I want to make sure they're good before I'm good. Okay, so definitely, your your disposable income as how you were spending it before is not the same no more. I can no longer say, "Hey, I'm gonna go out to the restaurant and go grab a drink and spend my money recklessly." Yes, I don't get me wrong. If the opportunity presents itself, I would love to do it, right? But I have to understand I have responsibilities that are there first before anything else, right? So that's one. Then two, and I would only say this is literally the last 6 months. Now I've understand to create wealth for my family because I wasn't afforded things at their age,
Yeah.
and I don't want anything to be given to them. I want to teach them the power of money. I want to teach them the power of finances. I didn't know none of this stuff until
Mhm.
now. Like I'm in my 30s now and I'm now learning about this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So if I could somehow teach them at a young age, I'll put them far ahead than my
Mhm.
situation at their age, right? So um all this stuff is out there. The information is out there. If you choose to go get that information and accept it, right? So if I could teach them the power of wealth, so that this continues generations upon generations, right? So yeah, I think definitely my outlook on money has changed because of family, right? If I was
Yeah.
by myself, I wouldn't think like this. I wouldn't have that mindset.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. And I hope that we we can confidently talk about money within our people
Hmm.
and build and create and save and share and all those things that we're supposed to do.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. We have to, right?
Mm.
And I think again, conversations like this uh helps pique the
Inform.
curiosity of people, right? They gotta,
Yeah.
man, he's talking about wealth. What is this about wealth that we could tap into, right? Like
Mhm.
we all could tap into. It's just we gotta chase that information, right? And have the
Mhm.
conversations.
Be thirsty for knowledge.
Absolutely. Don't stop learning. Like do
No.
not stop learning.
All
Do
right.
not.
So I have another one for you.
Yeah.
Great. As a man, when you hear these words, what comes to mind? Pride, ego, shame, guilt.
Pride, ego, shame, guilt. So what comes to my mind when I hear that? As a man,
Mhm.
um, to be a true man, you got to put that all out the window. Put that all out the window. There is no pride in being a man. There is no ego in being a man. There is no shame in being a man. There is none of this, right? To be a true man, you got to be vulnerable. You got to say, you know what? I messed up. Let me learn from this, right? Let me my shame is my learning, right? That's there's nothing to be ashamed about, right? I learned from this situation, right? If you have all of that, if you have pride, ego, shame, and what was the last one? Sorry, I forgot the other
And
one.
guilt.
And guilt. If you have all of that, I just don't know how you transform as a man, right? There's no way. There is no way that happens. If you are steadfast on that. So if you can recognize that I don't have pride, I don't have ego, like everyone is my equal. I learn from you, you learn from me. We're all in it together. My shame could help someone else not make that same mistake, right? Definitely like my ego, there is no ego. Like, do you know how excited I feel that I can't wait to learn from my eldest? Just because what? I'm the oldest, I can't listen to my eldest son. No, he we're all we're all created to be creatives, if that makes sense, right? We all created to be creatives, right? So everyone has a creative side to them. So I can't wait till my eldest to say, dad, this is I see it this way. We should go this and that way. Like I can't wait because if I don't have ego, I could resonate with him. I could accept that information, right? So to transform as a man, you got to throw all those words that was just said out the window because that does not make you a man. To me, that makes you a coward. Sorry to
You
say bad words, but
you slam dunk that. Like that answer is like gold, gem.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, it's so truth. And we need to society has conditioned people to think like this, right? And I think it's not fair. We're doing an injustice to people. This is why we're in the situation we're in with the
Right.
rise in mental health, under house people, illnesses, sickness. It's just too much that's going on. You got to be able to let free. Like I
Mm,
make a mistake, I got to move on. The day still goes on. The time doesn't stop for us, right?
mm.
So why am I gonna harp on it? Let's see what we could learn from this and how I could help someone else with this, right? I
That's
think it's
right.
so important to
That's
transform,
right.
to
I
transform.
love transform exactly
Yeah.
because the other way is trash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry to like use such a general word, but that's what it is. It's
It
garbage.
is. It is. It's has it been proven successful that way?
No, not once.
Why? So why not try another way where not only are you working on yourself, but someone else can learn from you,
Hmm.
right? Your situation. Because we all
Hmm.
have a story, right? But if I say I'm afraid of guilt, so I'm not going to share my story, or it's very shameful. Oh no, uh, uh, Tash is underneath me. I'm not going to tell her nothing. What the heck? How are you? What is your role to society then? Like you said, it's trash. It's trash behavior. It's trash mindset. We gotta
Whoa.
adapt. We gotta grow. Gotta grow that mind.
Yes. Yes. Like break out of your shell.
Oh, for
Break out of
sure.
the construct.
For
I have
sure.
a picture up there
Hmm.
that is it's a square box and it says the system on the square box and the square is saying you like we can't there's circles standing in front of the square box.
Hmm.
The square is saying just walk through, but we're like we can't walk through, and that's what we're trying to do
Yep.
as a people when we're not made to fit.
No. No.
We're made to stand up and stand out. How when
Exactly.
I learned about who I was, this is what I say now after I learned it. I
Hmm.
know whose I am and who I am.
Mm.
That's what I say now.
Mm.
It's just straight to the facts.
Mm.
So once I know this, I haven't heard from all the people who I haven't heard from them. They just dissipated. So the Lord is good.
Yep.
That's all I'll say about that.
Yep. Oh, that's beautiful.
All
Whose
right,
I
I'm
am
gonna.
is who I am. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I learned.
Yeah.
I am still learning,
No. And
but
we
it's
should.
making me stronger and powerful. It's also helping my young people to grow and
Of course, rise
flourish
up.
as well,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So on that note, how do you navigate hope?
How do I navigate hope? Again, I'm sorry to get biblical, but like that's our faith is hope for someone to send their son to die for our ways. He didn't have to do that, but he did it just to show that, he could be like us and he could exude the pain. Um, that in itself just says, you know what, Solomon, like you're having one bad day, or you're looking at life like, your finances are not where it needs to be. You're bothered by this situation. This person's bothering you. Like, do you know what your Lord and Savior went through? And
Mm,
this is what you're allowing it to diminish the
mm,
calling the purpose that your Lord has for you. Um, that's not being hopeful.
mm,
That's being very dark, very gloomy. Like that's not what you're called to be, right? So I think once you understand that we all have a purpose on this life, yeah, just because you're going through something right now and it may not be in your best interest or it's not in your favor, but understand that's a season,
mm,
right?
mm,
To get, I don't know, you could see if you could tell me, Tash, like every successful person in this world, like I don't know if like they had to go through a struggle to get to where they are. No,
Right.
right? Everything good, it, you have to struggle for a bit, right? Steve Jobs, people didn't believe in his vision, right? Um, the Microsoft guy, people didn't. He spent hours learning this new phenomenon of a computer before
Mhm.
he said, "Let me develop something." Right. So there is struggle. Going to the gym to look in your top
Struggling.
shape, you got to struggle, right? So just because we're going through a season or a struggle right now does not mean we should close our eyes on that hope that we have to look forward right to,
That's
right?
right.
So I think, and don't get me wrong, there's some days I forget, there's some days I'm
Right.
in my feelings,
Yeah.
hands down, right? But that's when you need to surround yourself with community, surround yourself in the word, entrench yourself with the word, and be reminded
Exactly.
that you have a purpose, you are called for great and mighty things.
Mhm.
Remember that, speak that, be confident in that, right?
Mhm.
And I think if you can't tear yourself down, no one else can,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? So that's your hope. If
Mhm.
I can't tear myself down, no, it gives no
No
one
one can.
permission to, right? So
I
yeah,
love that. I love that. That and it ties back into your dominion because once you found
yes,
it, no one could break
yes,
you.
no
Oh,
one,
no. Who's you?
no one, no one, no one,
I
no
know
one.
whose I am and
Yep,
who I
I
am.
am definitely, definitely,
Nothing.
definitely.
Hey.
No, it
Uh-huh.
doesn't change, right? So I think it's very important to understand that aspect of, again, this is me, this is what I believe in, and I hope you find who Christ is too. But
Mhm.
in the onset, even just being practical, like there is no way you can get to life without struggle. There's no way.
Mhm.
There is no
Mm.
way. When something that is good doesn't come to people that easy, right?
Mhm.
Unless you're the world's richest person and you give it to your kids, yeah, okay. But even
Mhm.
that, if your kids didn't go through some type of struggle and you just give it to them, in
They're
five, ten
gonna struggle
years,
with it.
they're gonna
Mhm.
struggle with it. That
Mhm.
that income or that wealth is gone,
Um,
right? Down the drain. So it's very important to understand. And I'm not
mhm.
only making this about money, but just
So
anything in life, like
mhm.
to be the best cook. You gotta
Mhm.
struggle with your bad dishes at first,
Mhm.
right? Anything you do, there's like pros and cons, right? So just understand that if you look at the good, that's the hope in it, right?
That's right. That's
Look in
right. I
it.
love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the last thing is there anything you'd like to say or share to any men out there before we wrap it up, before I say my spiel?
um so this is obviously in light of Father's Day is coming up.
Mhm.
I think there's a study that Father's Day is like probably one of the lowest celebrated holidays in the whole world. I think they say even Halloween surpasses Father's Day, and it's sad, right? It's sad, but that should not go unnoticed.
No.
We shouldn't use a day to say this is the day that we should be celebrated, or this is the day that we show um our heart in our hard work, right? Understand that the role you have is bigger than a day or a holiday or anything that is going to
Mm.
be thrown at us to be celebrated, right? It's um it's a role that if we take it serious, right? And when I say serious, I don't want you, oh, Solomon, I spend money, I send money to my kids every month, or I give them what they need. That's not what it entails. It's not only the monetary side of it, right?
Mhm.
It's how are we grooming the spiritual side of that child, right? And again, it doesn't have to be churchy, but how
Mhm.
are you investing in your child's mindset, your child's
Mm.
welfare, your child's thinking, right? And you can't just be there for the one day. You have to be there from beginning,
Mm.
right? And hopefully, God willing, to the end, right? Even when they have kids, they're still gonna turn to you. They're still
Mhm.
gonna look to you, right? So it's very important that we are there for them, okay? And that's the children aspect. If you have your significant other, okay, and I say fellas, like we leave this role to the mother too much. There's some
Mhm.
women that's the mother, the father, the grandparent, they hold so many
Mhm.
hats, right? And women the most powerful human beings on this earth, right? And I think it's time where we need to step it up
Mhm.
and take some of those reins from the women and let the children know that, you know what, I'm your father, that's your mom, like we're in it together, we're doing this to help you, right? So I think it's very important that we take some of those hats that they carry and, ensure that we could raise these children for ourselves too, because it's
Mhm.
important. Not one person can do it all, right? So even if you're not with your child's parent, and I hope you are, it's still necessary for you to be there, for you to
Mhm.
have that prominent role in your child's life. I take this role serious. I know what it's done for my life, and I don't mess around with this role. Like I love being a father. I love my children, and I just want to ensure that we're raising, you know, good leaders of tomorrow, right? And who knows what my child's gonna be? I don't know, the next Jeff Bezos, or the prime minister. I don't know what they're gonna be. I don't know what their calling is, but it would be a shame if I didn't pour into them, right? If I didn't pour into them, I failed as a father, right? Because
True.
my alternate father is always pouring into me. So who am I not to just say I'm not going to pour into my children, right? And that's that's to me, that's a weak move as a father. So don't do things for that one day or for that one weekend, but do it to ensure that you are training up your children to be light of this world, to be the salt of this world, right? That's, if you guys know what salt, it adds taste to your dishes, right? So to ensure that um, we're doing that for our children is vital. It's vital. So, man, I'm challenging you, man. That's my cry. Like, if we can be as half as a man in terms of parenting that women are for our children, we've done well, man. And women carry big shoes, right? So we really need to step it up. I want to see fathers do a lot, man. I love to see it, right? So I'm there for it. Sorry, like I'm
That's
passionate
all
about
right. Yes,
fatherhood, so I'm
that's
so
all
passionate
right.
about it. So
This is what we're here for, right? This
yeah.
is what we're here for. So where can anyone get a hold of you?
Oh man, you could find me. So I'm a realtor by day. You could find me on YouTube, Explore with Amour. That's one avenue. You could also find me on Instagram at kingsolo.realtor with zero. I think Tash will put it up if you guys don't know the spelling. Yeah, and you can find me on different places, right? I'm just out there trying to spread the word, trying to serve others, and show that we could build wealth through real estate, right? So definitely you could find me through there.
Oh, thank you so, so much. Blessings and joy. Like,
Amen. Amen.
wow. Okay, I'm going to say my spiel and tell
Definitely.
everyone why I created Create Don't Hate. So Create Don't Hate was born out of frustration. The frustration of individuals hating on me because of my differences. I wanted to make a movement of hope, courage, and love to build community and connection in the process. Create Don't Hate is a real practical way of sharing hope to those that have been muted and shut down because of just being who they are. Create Don't Hate is an anthem that I would play to get through the tough times. Alrighty, so again, thank you.
No problem. My pleasure. My pleasure. Everyone, create, don't hate.